Money doesn't ruin lives. People just get creative helping it disappear faster. Stick around because these stories make bad decisions look like an Olympic sport. Want smarter money moves and even crazier stories? Join our Telegram, link below. Fact 1. The lottery winner, who speed-ran bankruptcy. You know that fantasy where you win millions and finally relax? Yeah, this guy treated it like a speed-run challenge called, "How fast can I ruin everything?" He wins a massive lottery jackpot. Life-changing money, the kind that makes relatives suddenly remember your birthday. First week, new cars, not one, not two. A small dealership's worth because apparently he thought cars multiply like rabbits and also appreciate like fine wine. Then comes the house. Not just a house, a mansion so big you need a map and emotional support just to find the kitchen. Maintenance? Never heard of her. Taxes? A surprise boss fight he was not prepared for. But the real masterpiece? Lending money to friends. And by lending, I mean handing out cash like he's Oprah with a checking account. You get a loan. You get a loan. Spoiler: nobody pays him back. Within a couple of years, the jackpot turns into debt. The mansion gets sold, the cars disappear, and suddenly the same friends are busy. Turns out, money doesn't change people. It just reveals who thinks you're an ATM with legs. Moral of the story? Winning the lottery is easy. Not acting like a confused billionaire in a shopping spree simulator? That's the real skill. Fact 2. The guy who mortgaged everything for one sure thing. Every generation has that one guy who says, "Trust me, this can't fail." And every generation also has a long list of people who believed him. This particular genius heard about a guaranteed investment opportunity. You know the type, someone's cousin's neighbor who knows a guy in some booming market. Zero risk, huge returns, basically a fairy tale with spreadsheets. So what does he do? Start small? Of course not. That would require common sense. Instead, he goes all in, takes out loans, mortgages his house, even borrows from family. Because why not put your entire life on the line for something you barely understand? At first, it looks great. Numbers go up. Everyone feels like a financial wizard. He starts giving advice like he's the CEO of Wall Street. Confidence level dangerously high. Then reality walks in like an uninvited guest. The market collapses. The sure thing turns into a "what just happened?" Suddenly those magical returns vanish, replaced by debt that doesn't care about your optimism. He loses the investment, then the house, then the relationships, because nothing strengthens family bonds like, "Hey, remember that money you'll never see again?" It's a classic story. When something sounds too good to be true, it usually comes with a hidden feature called total financial destruction. Fact 3. The man who tried to look rich and ended up actually broke. There's a special category of financial decisions called, "I just want people to think I'm doing well." This guy turned it into a full-time lifestyle. It started harmless. Designer clothes, nice watch, leasing a luxury car he absolutely couldn't afford. But hey, on Instagram, he looked like a CEO, a crypto guru, and a motivational speaker all at once. The problem? None of it was real. Every paycheck went straight into maintaining the illusion. Rent? Late? Savings? Non-existent. But the car? Oh, the car was spotless. Priorities. Then came the upgrades. Bigger apartment, because the background of your selfies matters, obviously. Expensive dinners, because nothing says success like posting a steak you financed with a credit card. Soon the debt piles up like unopened emails. Credit cards maxed, loans stacked. But instead of stopping, he doubles down. Because admitting the truth would mean looking normal. Eventually, reality crashes the party. Payments missed, car repossessed, apartment gone. And suddenly, the online success story is offline and very unemployed. The funniest part? The people he was trying to impress weren't even paying that much attention. Turns out, pretending to be rich is one of the most expensive hobbies you can have, and it pays absolutely nothing. Fact 4. The "I'll pay it off later" credit card mastermind. You know that little voice that says, "It's fine, I'll pay it off next month"? Yeah, this guy gave that voice full control of his life. It started small. New phone, on credit. Then a vacation, on credit. Then furniture, gadgets, random late-night online shopping decisions fueled by boredom and confidence. Each purchase came with the same comforting lie. Future me has this handled. Future him did not have this handled. At first, minimum payments felt manageable, almost too easy, like the bank was being nice. Spoiler, banks are never being nice. That tiny payment, it's basically the financial version of keeping a zombie alive. Interest starts stacking quietly, then aggressively, then like it's training for the Olympics. Suddenly, he's not paying for a $2,000 purchase anymore. He's paying for a $2,000 purchase plus a bonus nightmare. But instead of stopping, he keeps going. Because if you're already in a hole, why not decorate it? Eventually, the math catches up. Payments become overwhelming. Stress kicks in. Sleep disappears. And all those fun purchases now feel like expensive souvenirs from poor decisions. Turns out, "I'll deal with it later" is one of the most expensive sentences in the English language. Fact 5. The guy who quit his job. Because crypto only goes up. There's confidence. And then there's, "I watched 3 YouTube videos and now I'm financially enlightened." This guy discovered crypto during a market boom. Prices were flying. Everyone online was suddenly a genius. Charts going up, influencers screaming, "This is the future." And of course, someone always saying, "If you're not in, you're already late." So he invests. Makes some quick gains. Nothing crazy, but enough to feel dangerous. Suddenly, his 9-to-5 job starts looking optional. Then comes the decision. The legendary one. He quits his job. Why? Because why work when your money is working for you? He starts checking charts like it's a full-time job. Every dip? Just a correction. Every warning? FUD? He's now financially bulletproof, in his head. Then the market flips. Prices drop, then drop again, then drop like they owe gravity money. His portfolio shrinks faster than his confidence. Now here's the twist. Bills didn't crash, rent didn't dip, life didn't say, "Hey man, take your time." With no job and no stable income, he's forced to sell at the worst possible moment. He didn't just lose money, he lost income, stability, and a pretty solid reality check. Because it only goes up is a great strategy, until it doesn't. Fact 6. The business idea that sounded genius at 2 a.m. Every bad financial story starts with a sentence like, "Hear me out. This one happened at 2 a.m." You know, that magical time when everything sounds brilliant. This guy decides he's going to start a business. Not just any business, a revolutionary concept, something the world has never seen. Problem? Nobody asked for it. He invests everything, savings, loans, maybe even a little borrowed confidence from friends who didn't fully understand what he was pitching. Branding? Done. Website? Beautiful. Logo? Looks like it belongs to a billion-dollar company. Actual demand? Missing. He launches, waits for customers. Silence. So he spends more money. Ads, promotions, discounts. Limited time offers for a product people were never interested in to begin with. Weeks turn into months. Sales barely move. But instead of stepping back, he doubles down. Because quitting would mean admitting that maybe, just maybe, the idea wasn't genius. Eventually, reality shows up with receipts. Money gone. Business closed. Lessons learned. The expensive way. Because having a cool idea at 2 a.m. is easy. Building something people actually want? That's the part nobody daydreams about. Fact 7. The wedding that cost more than the marriage. Weddings are supposed to be about love. This one was about a financial self-destruct button with flowers. It starts simple. We'll keep it small. That sentence lasts about 3 days. Then suddenly there's a venue, a photographer, a second photographer just in case, a dress that costs more than a used car, and a cake that could feed a small country. But hey, it's a special day, right? They upgrade everything, because you only do this once. Statistically, not always true, but okay. Open bar? Of course. Live band? Why not? Decorations that exist for 6 hours but cost like their permanent infrastructure? Absolutely. Here's the catch. They can't afford it, so they finance it. Loans, credit cards, maybe even help from family that quietly hopes this doesn't end badly. The wedding is perfect. Instagram loves it. Guests talk about it for weeks. Then real life starts. Bills arrive, debt sits there like an uninvited guest that never leaves. And suddenly, the stress isn't about seating arrangements, it's about survival. And the most ironic part? The marriage doesn't even last. So now they're not just separated, they're paying off a party they don't even like to remember, because nothing says great start like beginning your life together already in debt. Fact 8. The I'll just help a friend. Financial disaster. Helping a friend sounds like a good thing, and most of the time, it is. But this one comes with a warning label. It starts with a simple request. Hey, I just need a little help. I'll pay you back soon. Nothing dramatic, just enough to feel reasonable. So he helps, because that's what good friends do. Then comes request number 2, slightly bigger, slightly more urgent, still believable. Then another, and another. At some point, he's no longer helping. He's funding someone else's lifestyle. But here's the problem. He never sets boundaries. No contracts, no clear terms, just trust and good intentions, which are great for friendships and terrible for financial planning. Eventually, the repayments slow down, then stop. Excuses start showing up. I'll get it to you next week. Next week never arrives. Now he's stuck in a weird situation. Push too hard, you lose the friendship. Stay quiet, you lose the money. Spoiler, he loses both. Because money has a way of testing relationships like nothing else. And mixing finances with friendship without rules? That's basically gambling, but with emotions included for free. Sometimes the most expensive lesson isn't about money, it's about who you trust with it. Fact 9. The free trial. That quietly drained his bank account. We've all done it. Signed up for a free trial thinking, I'll cancel it later. This guy? He turned that into a long-term financial strategy. Accidentally. It started with one streaming service, then another, then a fitness app he used exactly twice, then a language app where he learned how to say hello and immediately retired from learning. Each one had the same deal, free for 7 days, then just a small monthly fee. And each time he told himself, I'll cancel before it charges me. He never did. Months go by, then years. Subscriptions quietly pile up like unopened mail. $9 here, $14 there. Nothing dramatic, nothing urgent, just a slow financial leak. Until one day he actually checks his bank statement. And it's like discovering your wallet has been quietly mugging you. Dozens of subscriptions, some he doesn't even remember signing up for. One app he forgot the password to. But it still remembers him every month. He adds it up and realizes he's been spending thousands a year on things he doesn't use. All because I'll cancel later quietly turned into I've been paying for nothing. Turns out the most dangerous expenses aren't big and obvious. They're small, silent, and very patient. Fact 10. The house. He bought to impress people who didn't care. There's buying a home, and then there's buying a statement. This guy didn't just want a house. He wanted the house. The kind that makes people say, wow, he's doing well. Big driveway, fancy neighborhood, kitchen that looks like a cooking show set. Even though the most complicated thing he makes is coffee. Problem? The house didn't match his income, not even close. But he convinces himself it's fine. I'll grow into it, which is a beautiful phrase that basically means future me will figure this out while I enjoy granite countertops. Mortgage is huge. Utilities? Also huge. Maintenance? Even bigger. Because it turns out houses don't just sit there looking pretty. They constantly need money like a very expensive pet. At first, he manages. Tight budget, but manageable. Then life happens. Unexpected expenses, repairs, bills stacking up like they're forming a support group. Suddenly, the dream house feels more like a full-time job he didn't apply for. And the people he was trying to impress? They visited once, said nice place, and went back to not thinking about it at all. Eventually, he's forced to sell, often at a loss. Because buying a house to impress others is like ordering food for someone else's hunger. You pay the bill, and they still go home full. Fact 11. The I deserve it lifestyle upgrade trap. This one starts with something very relatable. You get a raise, finally. After years of work, you're earning more. You feel good. You should feel good. But instead of saving or investing, this guy decides it's time for an upgrade. Actually, multiple upgrades. Better car, better apartment, nicer clothes, more dining out. Because hey, you've earned it, right? And to be fair, you have. The problem is, every upgrade comes with a permanent cost, not a one-time reward, a monthly commitment. So now his lifestyle expands exactly as fast as his income. Then something subtle happens. He stops feeling rich. Even though he's earning more than ever, it somehow still feels tight. Because now he needs more just to maintain the same lifestyle. Then comes a small setback, maybe an unexpected bill, maybe a job issue. Suddenly there's no buffer, no savings, just expenses waiting in line like they've been planning this moment. And that's when it hits him. He didn't actually get richer, he just got better at spending. Because "I deserve this" is true. But if everything becomes a reward, eventually nothing is sustainable. Fact 12. The investment. He didn't understand, but totally believed in. There's a special kind of confidence that comes from not understanding something at all, but believing in it 100%. This guy hears about a hot investment, complicated name, fancy explanations, charts that look impressive enough to scare away questions. Does he understand it? Not really. Does he invest anyway? Absolutely. Because everyone else seems confident, and there's always that one friend saying, "Bro, this is the future." So he puts in money, then more money, then even more, because once you've committed, logic quietly leaves the chat. Whenever someone asks what it actually does, he explains it using phrases like, "It's decentralized and it's disruptive," hoping nobody asks a follow-up question. At first, things look good. Numbers go up. He feels like a genius. Then something changes. Market shifts. News drops. Suddenly, the thing he didn't understand starts behaving in ways he really doesn't understand. Prices crash. Panic spreads. And now he's stuck making decisions about something he never fully grasped in the first place. Sell? Hold? Buy more? He doesn't know. Eventually he exits, usually at the worst possible time. Because investing in something you don't understand isn't investing. It's guessing with confidence. And confidence, unfortunately, doesn't pay your losses back. Fact 13. The car. That ate his entire paycheck. Some people buy cars. Others adopt financial responsibility on wheels. This guy walks into a dealership just to look. Dangerous sentence. He sees it. The car. Sleek, shiny. Looks like it belongs in a movie where everyone is successful and never checks their bank account. Salesperson says, "You deserve it," which is apparently a legally binding argument now. The monthly payment? A little high, but manageable, if everything goes perfectly forever. So he signs. At first, it's amazing. Driving feels like an event. Parking it? A performance. Every trip to the grocery store feels like a scene. Then reality starts billing him. Insurance? Expensive. Fuel? Also expensive. Maintenance? Oh, that's where the real fun begins. Suddenly, a huge chunk of his paycheck disappears every month just to keep this thing alive. And the worst part? The excitement fades. Fast. Now it's just a car. A very expensive, very demanding car. Meanwhile, financial stress builds quietly in the background. Because the car didn't just cost money, it took flexibility, freedom, and peace of mind with it. Turns out, driving something impressive feels great, until you realize it's driving your entire budget off a cliff. Fact 14. The side hustle that turned into a money pit. Side hustles are supposed to make money. This one did the opposite, professionally. It starts with motivation. I'm going to build something on the side. Love the energy. He picks an idea, buys equipment, invests in tools, maybe even rents a small space. Because if you're doing it properly. But here's the problem. Expenses show up immediately. Income? Not so much. So he spends more. Better tools, better marketing. Because clearly the problem is not spending enough, right? Months go by. Revenue is inconsistent. But the costs? Very consistent. Instead of stepping back, he doubles down. Because quitting now would mean all that money was wasted. So he keeps going, investing more into something that's not working, hoping it eventually turns around. It doesn't. Eventually, he's forced to stop. Not because he wants to, but because he literally runs out of money to keep the idea alive. And when he adds it all up, the side hustle didn't just fail. It actively lost him a significant amount of money. Because not every passion needs to become a business. Sometimes it's okay for something to just be a hobby. Fact 15. The I'll figure it out later. Retirement plan. This one is less dramatic, but somehow even more dangerous. There's no big mistake, no crazy purchase, just delay. I'll start saving later. I have time. I'll figure it out when I earn more. Years pass, then more years. Life gets busy, expenses grow, responsibilities pile up, and saving for the future always feels like something you can postpone because it's not urgent, until suddenly, it is. He reaches a point where retirement isn't some distant concept anymore. It's real, it's close, and that's when the math becomes uncomfortable. Savings? Minimal. Investments? Almost non-existent. Now the pressure hits all at once. Catching up requires huge sacrifices, bigger than they would have been years ago, because time was the one advantage he had, and he spent it thinking he had more of it. This isn't a loud financial disaster. It's a quiet one. No dramatic collapse, just a slow realization that later eventually becomes now. And the scariest part? There's no easy fix, no quick win. Just the reality that the best time to start was years ago. Because when it comes to money, time isn't just important, it's everything. Fact 16. The everyone else is doing it investment disaster. There's a moment in every bad financial story where logic quietly leaves and gets replaced by peer pressure. This guy hears about an investment from literally everyone: friends, co-workers, random people online. It's everywhere. Everyone's making money. Screenshots, success stories, people suddenly acting like financial gurus after 2 lucky trades. And the worst part? He feels left out. So he jumps in. Not because he understands it, but because everyone else seems to be winning. And nobody wants to be the only person not invited to the easy money party. He invests, then adds more. Because the fear isn't losing, it's missing out. At first it works, small gains, enough to feel validated. See? I knew it. Then the timing flips. Because of course it does. The hype dies, prices drop, and suddenly all those confident voices go very, very quiet. Now he's stuck holding something he bought at the peak, watching it slowly lose value. And here's the brutal part. Most of those people who convinced him to invest, they already got out. Because they weren't early. They were just earlier than him. Turns out, everyone is doing it is usually a sign you're late to the party, and the bill is about to arrive. Fact 17. The renovation that turned into a financial horror movie. Home renovations always start the same way. This should be simple. This guy just wanted to upgrade his kitchen. Nothing crazy. New cabinets, maybe better lighting, a little refresh. Budget? Reasonable. Timeline? Optimistic. Then reality enters like a contractor with bad news. First issue, we found something behind the wall. That sentence alone should come with a warning label. Because behind that wall? Problems. Expensive ones. So now the budget increases. But hey, since you're already doing work, why not upgrade a few more things? New appliances, better materials, nicer finishes. At this point, the project has completely forgotten what budget even means. Weeks turn into months. Costs keep climbing. Every step reveals another unexpected issue. And suddenly, what started as a simple update has turned into a full-scale financial commitment. By the end, he spent way more than planned. Stress levels are high. And the kitchen? Sure, it looks great. But every time he walks into it, he doesn't see a beautiful space. He sees invoices. Because renovations don't just improve your home, they test your relationship with money in ways you didn't sign up for. Fact 18. The business partner. He totally trusted. Starting a business with a friend sounds like a great idea. You trust each other. You get along. What could go wrong? Everything. If you skip one very boring but very important step, clear agreements. These two start a business together, equal excitement, equal optimism, very unequal expectations. One thinks they're building something long-term. The other is thinking quick profit. One reinvests money. The other starts taking it out early. And here's the key mistake. They never clearly defined roles, responsibilities, or how money would be handled. Because we trust each other felt like enough. At first, things are fine. Then small disagreements start. then bigger ones. Money becomes the main character. Eventually, things fall apart. Arguments escalate. Trust disappears. And now they're not just dealing with a failing business. They're dealing with legal issues. Who owns what? Who owes what? Nobody really knows. The business collapses. The friendship? Gone. Because mixing business and friendship without structure is like building a house without a foundation. It might look fine at first, but it won't survive pressure. Trust is great, but in business, trust without clarity is just delayed conflict. Fact 19. The cheap option that became the most expensive choice. Everyone loves saving money. This guy took it a little too seriously. He needed something fixed, let's say his car. Nothing too dramatic. But instead of going to a reliable professional, he looks for the cheapest possible option. Finds a guy. I can do it for half the price. Sounds great, right? Because saving money feels like winning. The work gets done. Quick, cheap, efficient. For about a week. Then the problem comes back. Worse this time. Now he has to fix the original issue and whatever the cheap repair broke in the process. So he ends up going to a professional anyway. And now the cost? Double, maybe triple. Because fixing a bad job is always more expensive than doing it right the first time. This applies to everything. Repairs, services, even decisions. Cheap isn't always bad, but choosing the lowest price without thinking about quality? That's how you accidentally turn saving money into a very expensive lesson. Fact 20. The insurance. He thought he didn't need insurance is one of those things people love to skip, because it feels like paying for something you hope you'll never use. This guy looked at it and thought, I'm careful, I'll be fine. So he cuts corners. No proper coverage. Saves money every month. Feels smart. Until something happens. Accident. Damage. Something completely unexpected that doesn't care how careful you think you are. Now suddenly he's facing a massive bill. And here's the moment that hits hardest. This entire disaster could have been manageable if he had insurance. But instead of a small monthly payment, he's now dealing with a huge immediate financial hit. Savings disappear, stress skyrockets, options become limited. Because insurance isn't about expecting bad things. It's about being prepared when life ignores your expectations. Skipping it feels like saving money, right up until it becomes the most expensive decision you've ever made. Fact 21. The one big win will fix everything. Gamble. This one is dangerous because it feels logical. At first, he's already in a financial hole, debt piling up, stress building. And then the idea appears. I just need one big win, one lucky break, one smart move, one moment that fixes everything. So he starts taking bigger risks, gambling, risky trades, high-stakes bets, because playing it safe won't get him out fast enough. At first, maybe he even wins a little, just enough to reinforce the belief that he's close. But here's the problem. When you're chasing a big win, you stop thinking clearly. Losses don't feel like losses, they feel like almost wins. So he keeps going, increasing risk, increasing stakes, until eventually reality catches up. And instead of fixing his situation, he makes it worse, much worse. Because the bigger the risk, the bigger the fall. And the truth is, financial problems are rarely solved with one dramatic move. They're solved slowly, boringly, consistently. But slow and boring doesn't feel exciting until you compare it to losing everything in one very confident mistake. Fact 22. The subscription to keeping up appearances. Some people subscribe to Netflix. This guy subscribed to a lifestyle he couldn't afford. It starts subtly. Branded clothes instead of normal ones. Fancy gym membership he barely uses. Expensive coffee every single day because it's just $5. Individually, harmless. Together, a financial ambush. Then comes social pressure. Friends going to nice restaurants, weekend trips, events where splitting the bill feels like a silent competition. Nobody says it out loud, but everyone's trying to look like they've got it together. So he keeps up. Even when his bank account quietly disagrees, he starts justifying everything. It's networking. It's part of the lifestyle. You have to spend money to make money. But here's the reality. He's not investing in opportunities. He's investing in appearances. And appearances don't pay you back. Eventually, the math stops working. Credit cards fill up. Savings disappear. Stress replaces confidence. And the people he was trying to keep up with? Half of them were probably struggling too, Because keeping up appearances is like running on a treadmill. You're constantly moving, spending energy, and getting absolutely nowhere. Fact 23. The I'll just fix it myself. Financial experiment DIY is great. Saves money, feels productive, makes you feel like you've got your life together, until it doesn't. This guy decides to fix something himself, let's say plumbing. Watches a few videos, feels confident. How hard can it be? Famous last words. He starts working. Things seem fine, until they're not. One wrong move, one small mistake, and suddenly the situation escalates from minor issue to why is water everywhere? Now instead of fixing a small problem, he's dealing with a bigger one. So he calls a professional. And here's the twist. The job is now more complicated, more time-consuming, and more expensive because someone already tried to fix it incorrectly. That someone? Him. What could have been a simple, affordable repair turns into a costly situation because sometimes saving money up front creates bigger costs later. DIY works when you know what you're doing. When you don't, it's less do it yourself and more pay for it twice. Fact 24. The I'll start tomorrow. Business dream. This one isn't about losing money fast. It's about never making it at all. He has ideas, good ones, talks about them constantly. Business plans, strategies, potential income. Everything sounds solid. But there's one small problem. He never starts. Tomorrow becomes his favorite word. I'll start when things calm down. I'll start when I have more time. I'll start when I feel ready. Spoiler, nobody ever feels fully ready. Months turn into years. The ideas stay ideas. Meanwhile, he watches other people launch things, sometimes worse ideas, and actually succeed. And that's the frustrating part, because it's not about having the best idea, it's about executing. Eventually, the opportunity fades. Market changes, timing shifts. What once felt fresh now feels outdated, and now he's left with something worse than failure, regret. Because failing teaches you something, not starting. That just leaves you wondering, what if, for way longer than you'd like. Financially, he didn't lose money, but he lost something else, potential. And sometimes that's the most expensive loss of all. Fact 25. The I don't need a budget lifestyle. Budgets sound boring. This guy decided he was above that. I know what I'm spending, he says. Confident, relaxed, completely guessing. Money comes in, money goes out. As long as there's something left at the end of the month, everything must be fine. Right? Wrong. Because without a budget, you're not managing money. You're just observing it disappear. He spends freely, nothing extreme, just everyday stuff. Food, shopping, random purchases that feel small in the moment. But small things add up, quietly, consistently. Then one day, something unexpected happens, a bigger expense, a situation that requires actual financial awareness. And suddenly, he has no idea where his money went. No tracking, no plan, no control, just confusion. That's when he realizes something important. Being good with money isn't about how much you earn. It's about knowing where it's going. Because if you don't tell your money where to go, it will absolutely find its own way, usually somewhere unhelpful. Fact 26. The deal that was too good to miss. If there's one phrase that should immediately activate your survival instincts, it's this: limited time opportunity. This guy sees an offer. Big returns, low risk, urgency everywhere. Only a few spots left. And the pressure works. Because when something feels exclusive, it feels valuable. He doesn't fully check it, doesn't research deeply, because if he takes too long, he might miss out. So he invests. At first, everything looks normal. Updates, communication, maybe even small returns to build trust. Then, silence. The people disappear. The platform stops responding. The opportunity vanishes like it was never there. Because it wasn't an investment. It was a scam. And the urgency? That wasn't a feature. It was the trap. Because real opportunities don't rush you, but bad ones? They need you to act fast before you start thinking. Fact 27. The person who won big and still lost everything. This one feels almost unfair. He actually did everything right at first. Got a big financial win. Could be a business success, a lucky investment, something that genuinely changed his situation. And for a moment, he was set. But then something subtle happens. Comfort. He stops paying attention, stops being careful, because when you've already won, it feels like you can't lose. Spending increases, risks increase, discipline quietly disappears. He starts making decisions not based on logic, but on confidence. And confidence, without caution, is dangerous. Slowly, things begin to slip. A bad investment here, overspending there, ignoring warning signs because it'll work out until it doesn't. And just like that, the win disappears. What makes this worse than the others? He knew better. He had the chance to secure everything and still lost it. Because making money once doesn't guarantee you'll keep it. Keeping it? That's a completely different skill. Which mistake felt a little too familiar? Be honest, we've all been there.